All right, it's Monday, 6:50 in the morning, October 23, and you'll see I've put down here the stats of the strategy, 29.4 overall, 88%, and then the breakdown of each setup. Trading 3 setups currently, LO, PB, and OJ, and did some back testing over the weekend, and I think according to what I'm seeing, I probably do need to just loosen up my LO rules. It does get some losses, but if I just take virtually all of them, this percentage should be much higher. So just gonna try to take them. And the thing that I did notice is that drawing measured moves should help me stay out of the bad ones. So for instance, that's one measured move. I already did that, but maybe it's going to try to do something like this. So that's something to keep in mind for a measured move back towards the top, back towards the previous day closing price. Close the gap. So just something to keep in mind. If there's no measured move, maybe I can skip an LO and save myself from a loss. Here's a measured move down from the overnight. So I reached that, and then it retested. So anyway, things to keep in mind. But yeah, my back testing went really good over the weekend. My PB continued to be just awesome. And OJ I'm seeing is definitely occurs less often, but just as reliable as PB. So LO is really the only kind of setup in my strategy that I have seen that there can be losses on what I considered a objective setup. But no strategy is perfect. Every strategy is going to get some losses. So it does look like it should be a high probability enough strategy that I can take those. I am seeing that this might be
Order
an LO
submitted.
right here actually coming up. I'm going to drop my order in. Just a reminder that I have a chart to the left where my indicator is, and that's where I'm dropping my order and moving my order around. So let's see what happens here if we get a bullish bar. Not this one. See if this next bar is bullish. Need a bullish bar here. No, inside bar and not bullish. I don't enter after inside bars. All right, I'll pause and see if something else comes up. Recording here again. This was almost possibly a LO setup here. This bar's not bullish enough. But I'm also going to be more mindful about when I'm trading into a previous day low or high. This was yesterday's previous low. This line. That's the low of the entire day. Friday. So it did show some reaction here in the overnight. So if this was a valid LO setup, I would just have to make sure that there's room to it. Or else I'm going to start skipping some of those just because I've I did notice that a couple of my losses were right in areas like that, you know, whether it's against the open price or previous day low or previous closing. So just something I'm going to try to be aware of before I take trades, because I don't have to take every trade. I just need, you know, 1 or 2 trades a day is all I really need to ultimately do what I want to do on Apex with the strategy. All right, pause here, see what comes up. All right, this is a good example. This is an LO right here. I do have the measured move up, so I am expecting it to go higher. Well, and it looks like it's pulling back before it triggers above anyway, but it was going right into the previous day low that I was just talking about. So in 3 attempts to do it as well. So I wouldn't have entered that if it triggered. It didn't trigger. But that's the perfect example of a reason to not enter an LO trade, which I probably would have entered in the past just because I believed in the setup so much. But these are the cases where it may have failed if it actually got triggered here. So that's it for now. All right, so we just closed the gap that I was expecting, almost at the measured move. Even if it doesn't touch the measured move at this point, I consider it played out. And so we'll see what happens from here. But so far, expectation is basically reached, closing the gap of the previous day close. Let's see what we get from here. All right, now we have a perfect touch to the measured move. So definitely skeptical about longs from this point, especially if it's an LO setup. Very skeptical of taking them once a measured move is reached. They're still the high of the overnight, a little bit higher. So we'll see what happens from here. But I probably won't take LOs once measured moves are reached, unless some other kind of measured move becomes apparent, or you know, if it's just a strong uptrend that doesn't want to stop, then maybe I can consider that. But so I'm just gonna hang. I might have to stop early today. I'm not sure yet, so we'll see what happens. Okay, just recording here. Maybe there's going to be a PB setup if it closes down here. Not this bar, but maybe the next one. Just gonna get an order.
Order
ready.
submitted.
Just in case. I need to close down here somewhere. Bearish bar. We had already reached measured move, so I could see a reason for 2 legs down here. Just waiting for one last thing to get into alignment. And I'll know on the bar close if it's this bar. Might not be till the next bar. Need a bearish close down here. So this next bar could be bearish down here and still work. And I like that it would be below the previous day low. Let's see where this bar closes. If it closes down towards the bottom, it should. Okay, doesn't look like it's going to happen this one. So let's see where this bar closes. I want to close down here. Looking for the PB if this is a bearish close. Not bearish enough. Would have still worked.
Order canceled.
If this had been more bearish, I would have definitely taken it. It's possible that doesn't even matter if it's bearish or not. Because the close was still down where I wanted it. Just I wanted it to be a bearish bar as well. You gotta see how many times that happens, but maybe I think I can consider that white for now. For anyone that's been watching, I have 3 setups that you can see over here. LO, PB, and OJ. Those are the 3 setups that I take. And for each one of those, there could be a white subjective version of it, or if it has all of my rules in place. Like this one, the only rule that wasn't in place was it wasn't a bearish bar to go short. But if it has all the rules in place, then I consider it objective, and then it's a gold trade. And those are the only trades I'm trying to take is the gold objective trades. And I'm skipping anything that seems subjective or white to me. All right, I just moved this around a little bit. I tweaked my whole interface over the weekend a little bit, kind of moved some stuff around, put all this stuff on the left side. I think it looks better with my channel name and the stats all together up here instead of separated. Watching price action, not a whole lot to say at the moment. Reached my big measured move, 2 legs down, had a white PB, not taking these subjective versions yet, and seeing if we reach this measured move back up to retest the high, and who knows, maybe we'll try to retest the high of the overnight, but I haven't seen any setups yet that I can take. We'll keep watching. Actually watching this right here to see if this is an LO. The problem is that if I'm looking at this measured move, we're going to be right at it. In order ready,
Order
just
submitted.
Because maybe the measured move is to here. If this isn't a bullish bar, it doesn't matter. Okay. So
order canceled.
Cancel that. This would have had to be a bullish bar to even consider it anyway. So no trade here. But what I was thinking too is it is possible that ultimately the measured move could end up like this, which takes us closer to the overnight high. Kind of makes sense actually. So I'm going to leave this and see if that's what we can reach here. Maybe I'll put back on the smaller one too, just so I have it. Those are kind of the 2 targets. Anyway, no setups. Keep watching. Just looking at this right now. I'm not sure I can take this because I'm at a measured move. But if this is a bull candle right here, it could be
order submitted.
a LO. Thinking about it, I do have the secondary measured move, but it's just this is right at kind of the first obvious measured move. All right, it didn't trigger anyway.
Order canceled.
So the fact that this went below this bull candle takes the trade off the table for me anyway. But yeah, this probably, I would probably have to skip just because it's right at, to the tick, the measured move that I had made off this initial leg. I made a secondary leg up for a bigger measured move potentially, but it didn't trigger anyway, so there was no setup. It'll be interesting to see here this closes bullish. No, okay. So there's just no setup here for me. We may be going up here and retesting the highs of the overnight anyway. But this never got triggered. Keep on waiting. Yeah, watching this again, another potential LO.
Order submitted.
Oh. For another measured move up. It's kind of sketch to me. And it doesn't actually qualify. No. It's not
Order
LO for me.
canceled.
Slightly off. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets up here, but yeah, this didn't actually form correctly here. And look at that sell-off. Interesting. All right, I'll stick around, keep watching as long as I can here. It's possible I'm gonna have to stop in the next 20 minutes or so. Not sure if for the whole day or what. Just have to kind of see how things go. All right, I'll be back. All right, looking for another possible LO here on a bullish bar.
Order submitted.
Got another measured move we could be trying to reach. So this needs to be a bullish bar on the finish. No, not bullish enough.
Order canceled.
Not bullish enough for me. Maybe it's hard to tell. If it was another tick higher or 2 ticks higher, I could have considered that. It just seems like it closed in the middle, so I really want to see bullishness on the setup to be able to take it. So this, at best, is a white trade, subjective. I'm not going to take that, so I'm going to hang out and see if something else comes up. All right, so it just reached my scalp if I were to take this white trade. So it would have worked, but considering that the LO is already my most likely set up to have some losses, I really can't take them when they don't finish bullish. I consider this my signal bar. Even though I had the extra move up and it was clearly already above here, so there were signs, yeah, we might be trying to test the overnight high, trying to go for this measured move. Just slightly not bullish enough, even though it would have worked. It's just the way it goes. I'm less willing to risk that sort of thing. That has seemed to be a really important rule that I'm not going to overlook, is the bullishness for a long trade of my signal bar. There's some other things I'm willing to kind of let go of as far as some strict rules I've had, but not that one, as far as taking the LO. But yeah, it's not like it's bearish, so maybe in the future I'll have to reconsider those. It's another example of LOs I'm not taking that work, and so there are other LOs I take that lose, and so maybe that is a rule I can lessen. If it's at least this bullish, I can still take it maybe, but it seems pretty borderline to me right now, so skipping that. But I guess I'll mark it for myself just to remind myself later. And, I think for now that's a judgment call that I'm not willing to make yet. But look at this, almost a perfect measured move of the bigger leg and turning down just a tick or two off of it. So whether we reach the overnight high or not, it's been a pretty healthy move up from the lows when the market opened. I started all the way back down here, so it's been It's been a consistent move up, but this might be one move, 2 legs up, a correction, another 2 legs up. So this might be the high that we see, and it might start working down again. All right. Not sure when I have to stop. Might have to be early, might not. Let's see what happens. All right, we got the full big leg measured move almost at the overnight highs. So everything's kind of played out how I've suspected it would up to this point. No trades yet, but maybe we'll have reached the top here and start coming down the other way. And maybe it's a big range day. Or if it continues up and comes back and kind of retests the highs, it keeps going up, then, I'd be willing to look for longs again at that point. But right now we're kind of getting into an area where it's really hard to consider longs anymore. And this is kind of the area where I think, all right, so there's the retest of the overnight high. But I'd be hard pressed to take an LO at this point, all the way up here. So I'm just going to sit back and watch what happens for a while. This is an LO right now, but I don't want to take it at the retest of the overnight high, honestly. I mean, maybe it'll work. There's a lot of momentum, but it just seems like maybe everything's played out. I feel like this is like where I might have been taking losses, is when everything showing long is played out, but you get a setup for the LO, and I take it, and then maybe this is the spots where when I wasn't tracking it before, this is all the longs were, all the targets for longs are played out, and I was still taking it just based on the setup itself and not thinking about the overall context. And maybe that's when I got some losses previously on the LO. I'm not entirely sure, but it's what I suspect based on some of the testing I did over the weekend. So let's see what happens here. If I was in this LO, I mean, my stop would be pretty far down. It would be at least 42.54 or so down here. So I'll come back and we'll see. Just looking here and seeing if there's something bigger. The only thing I'm thinking is, what if this can be considered a leg? And then from down here, another leg. So just as even a bigger target. I suppose that's possible to look at it that way. I don't necessarily think that's what's going to happen, but just to keep in mind, if this thing does end up keep pushing up, that could be a potential next target to look for. But considering we're seeing resistance here, it feels like it's maybe going to turn into a range day. But you just don't know until it plays out. So that's kind of my thought right now. We're either going to go for that, or we're going to turn down and come back to retest the midline of a range. If it just ends up being something like this, come back to the midline or to the bottom. So we'll see. Okay, so just taking a look at this. This was an LO that I talked about a while back, and we're at the highs, and it finally would have worked for a scalp. But you would have had to sit through all of this. So interesting. Something to keep in mind. But again, I think thinking about context, it's a really risky trade to take, even though it's a good signal. So I'll just put the white mark on it. Actually, did it even... Was it this one? Yeah, it was that one. But did this... Oh, you know what? It didn't even go 2 ticks above, so no, it didn't trigger. This bar would have needed to go 2 ticks above this one for me to consider entering it anyway, so no trade there. I am going to have to stop any minute here, so yeah, it might be for the rest of the day. I'm not entirely sure, but I'll pause. I'll come back and say I'm stopping for now, and then hopefully at some point I'll be able to come back and say whether I'm continuing or stopping for the day. We'll see. I'm just watching this here real quick. I'm gonna have to stop in a minute. Looking to see if we get a close up here. This might be a OJ. This is probably my
Order
last chance
submitted.
for a trade. Might be done for the day. I'm not sure. But I'm looking for a bullish bar here. Looking for it to not reach the measured move. On the vice versa, if it does work down, there might be a PB down here somewhere at some point, but I'm not sure I'll be able to stick around for it. This would need to finish up here, which doesn't seem like it'll do. It's not high enough. Give it one more bar. If it closes up here, it's possible this will be the OJ. I'm getting my order ready up here just in case. And again, I order to the left of this chart on the chart with my indicator. And then you'll see it play out on the screen if I'm in it. So this is the right bar for it. So if it goes 2 ticks above this bar, I can enter. It'd be about a 6-point stop. Needs to go one more tick. I'll only enter if it goes 2 ticks on this bar. Doesn't seem like it's going to do it. In testing, I've seen it still work when it only goes 1 tick on the next bar and then goes 2 ticks later, but I'm still not entering that way. It has to be on this bar. So if it goes 2 ticks before the bar's closed, I'll enter. Struggling. Doesn't seem like it's going to do it. No. Okay.
Order
Canceling this
canceled.
order. This may still work. It's what I'll refer to as a white OJ. Because it only went 1 tick on the next bar. And I'm going to have to stop here for at least a while. So it's too bad that didn't trigger. That would have been perfect timing to take a trade and be out of here. And of course, I'm curious to see if that would work. So I guess I won't get my chance. I've got to go. Okay. Stopping here, pausing, and I'll try to come back at some point to either wrap up the video and say I didn't trade anymore, or to hopefully continue trade at some point today. All right, I'm back. It's 9:35, a little after. Just looking at the chart right now, and it looks like I probably, it's a little hard to tell sometimes in hindsight, but it looks like this was probably a PB. Let's see, the low here, 56.50, 54.50. So it went exactly 8 ticks. So imagine if I was here for that, I could have got a 6-tick scalp, but I wasn't here. And I'm not sure how long I'm going to be able to trade for at this point. But we'll see how things go. And if I have to stop, I will let you know I'm stopping. All right, I forgot as well. I marked this OJ before I left. It only ticked 1 tick above, so it wasn't a trigger for me because I need 2 ticks. But it looks like it would have still worked, and that's what I've been kind of seeing in all my testing. But I just haven't seen enough of these situations yet to be able to say that I can still take it on only a single tick or enter it later once it finally goes 2 ticks. So it's something I'm going to be watching as we continue to track these trades to see if it only goes 1 tick, but later it gets the 2nd tick. Maybe I can still enter late. In this case, it would have worked. So we'll have to keep our eye on that. All right, I got to walk away for a little bit again. Not sure when I'll be back. It's 9:54 right now. And hopefully I'll be able to get back here. All right, so I just got back right now. It's almost 10:30. And looks like we got the big measured leg move that I had drawn a long time ago and passed it. And now we're selling off. A little frustrating that I haven't been able to be trading. It looks like we got another PB that I missed. Where was it? Here. Unfortunately, I wasn't here when this happened. But this was a good trade if I was here. And now it seems like everything that I could find to the upside seems like it should definitely be done. Maybe there was another measured move here. So it went beyond that too. So I don't see anything else to the upside that I'm aware of right now. So we'll see what happened. This is, or what happens from here. This is the whole day so far. So it was two solid legs down, 2 solid legs up, and anything can happen from here. So I'll pause here, and I'm not sure how much longer I'll be able to trade. At some point, I'll get called away again. Family's sick, so just having to help out whenever I'm needed. But anyway, pause here and see if something sets up. All right, I'm looking here to see if we get an LO, possibly here with a closed low. Get my order ready just in case. We have a measured move that we're looking to reach. See what this looks like on the close of the candle. There's some support here. Thinking about it, it's one thing that looks a little weird about it to me. I do see support like this, which is a little concerning. The way this is backing up. If this backs back down, maybe I'll enter it. There's an aspect of it that doesn't look quite right. Feeling very white subjective. Let's see how this candle closes. We do have the measured leg that we're looking for. Maybe a 7-point stop. I think it feels like one of those white subjective LOs that I was saying at the beginning of the day I need to start taking more of because most of them work. But that line of support is also somewhat concerning considering that the setup didn't look perfect. I don't know. I'm just not trusting this. It's stacking up. There's that line of support. There's a measured move that I'm expecting. This thing could just bounce right back up right now. It kind of looked weird from the start. It doesn't even look like one that I would typically take even in my back testing on playback like sim accounts. So probably better I don't take it considering I've been patient all day. Be really disappointed to make a mistake right now as these bars are stacking up to enter late on a trade that I didn't feel really solid about from the beginning.
It kind of feels like it's acting like a couple of those bad LO trades I've taken on YouTube where it, you know, it looks like it's going to work, but it just keeps bouncing up. I mean, I could still enter late right now, but I don't know. I have a weird feeling about it. Just trying to trust my instincts. Definitely seems like it's going to work with that close down there. My entry would have been 62.50. So it's gone 6 ticks. Like I wanted to take it, but I don't know. I feel like when I'm feeling some sort of way about a trade, I just should stay out. And not 7 ticks. And there would have worked for 8 ticks. So
Order
that's
canceled.
all right. Just especially when it gets towards being towards the end of the day. Rather just play it safe. So it is off of this bar there. It was LO. Just didn't feel right about it. Had the measured move. I mean, maybe the measured move combined with the setup is the reason to take it. That's kind of what I've been saying is if we're already at a measured move or beyond the measured move is a reason not to take it. So when there is a measured move, it gives it more validity, I guess, for me to take it. So I don't feel in a rush to take trades if I'm not sure. So we'll pause here and keep looking. But hey, this is trading. Got a great system, psychology, the human aspect of why we take a trade or not. I think I was talking about it when I first started today that in my testing, it seems like if I just take every single LO I see, I'll come out ahead in the long run. And this percentage over here, I'm only 15-4. I would have a lot more wins if I was just taking them all. And I'd probably have around the same number of losses. Maybe I'd pick up an additional 1 or 2, but I'd have way more wins as well. So the percentage would likely be higher overall if I was just taking them all. So LO is still a work in progress of me really testing it and feeling confident in it. I much more prefer the PB. These are solid. I wasn't here for these. But man, they are accurate for ATIC, 6 to 8 tick scalps. Pretty solid. So, all right, I'll pause here, see if we get anything else. I'm going to have to stop by just before 12. So I've got maybe a half hour left and let's see what happens. And just a quick note that the big measure leg down of this leg was reached, as well as the smaller leg here was both reached, and a bounce right there. So doing these measured legs that I learned from Mac's price action trading system, definitely still helpful and valid. I think it's just helpful to find, targets for where the market is moving for. And like I said a second ago, gives some more validity to taking maybe what's somewhat of a subjective setup, but has another reason in its favor to take it. So we'll continue to watch this. Let's see what happens. Look at this. This is a massive bar, but this is an OJ right here. But it's like huge.
Order submitted.
Wasn't expecting it. It dropped so fast. I guess I should have taken it. I wasn't even expecting it there. It already went 8 ticks now. Wow, that happened so fast. I
Order
looked away
canceled.
for a second and this huge bar formed. And when it closed, it was a OJ setup. There you go. 59.75. No, 60.75. I could have still taken it.
Order submitted.
No, it's going to be too late. 60.75 would have been the entry. Now it's gone 7 ticks. I wouldn't have got that. It wouldn't have picked me up if I tried to get in that late anyway.
Order
I did miss it
canceled.
when I first noticed it. I had to hit the record button. I couldn't believe my eyes. I saw it. When I saw this close, I was like, oh man, that's OJ right there. But I hit record and still couldn't believe. I mean, this is a 24 tick bar just right there. So it dropped 24 ticks to form the OJ. Completely unexpected. That would have been a nice trade. Bit of a tough day. I mean, I'm not feeling too stressed about it. The pay period is over until the 1st through 5th of November. And yeah, that would have definitely worked for 8 ticks, or 6 or 8 ticks. So yeah, and nothing is renewing too soon. So I have time with all my accounts for evaluations before renewals. And the pay period, I have to wait till November 1 anyway. So just being patient. There's no rush for trades at this point. And I'm going to have to stop here maybe for the rest of the day in another 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Actually, we might be getting a PB now to the long side. I'm going to get ready just in case.
Order submitted.
Needs a close like up here to potentially be one. We'll wait on the close of this bar and see if everything looks like it qualifies according to the rules. Yep, PB.
Order submitted. My stop's probably supposed to be a little lower.
It's supposed to be at 58.25. Not liking this. Man. It's going to be the first PB that loses, maybe? Should I put my stop back where it belongs? This is about as much as I want to risk on this. I'll just take the hit. If it goes down here, I'm just going to take the hit. It's not the plan, but I moved it. All right, this is where it's supposed to be. I don't want to get a loss because I didn't have it in the right place. I wish I got the OJ. That would have been the trade I really wanted. If this bounces back up, I'll move my stop below this wick. Doesn't look good for me. All right, this really doesn't look good for me. The only thing I can hope is that putting my stop where it belongs is going to save me here, but usually PBs work much better than this. If we get a bounce above this bar, I will move my stop below this pivot.
All right, so after this bar closes, I'll move my stop up, I think, to this pivot and take some risk off. Save me 1.5 points. At this point, if it moves below this bar, it's going to lose anyway, I think. So maybe moving my stop to where it belonged down here originally is a good thing that I put it in the right place. It saved me from taking a loss already. And maybe this PB is going to work ultimately, if I'm lucky, the way they have been. Oh, maybe I spoke too soon. All right, well, I was patient all day. The OJ would have been good. The PB is bad. My first loss on the PB coming right now.
Order filled.
All right. So, what can you do? So it looks like we lost about 6 points. Now, if this shoots up and turns out to work out, then I know I did the wrong thing by moving my stop up, because my stop's supposed to be down here. So we'll track that and see if I made a mistake by taking too much risk off. I should have left my stop in the right place maybe, but I'm guessing not. So that's my first loss with the PB right there. We just witnessed it. So I'm going to have to stop right now, unfortunately, with a loss. And that's probably the end of my day, because I had to stop right now. So that's a real bummer. And look, it looks like it's turning here. So who knows? All right, I got to pause, and I'm probably done for the day, but we'll see. All right, I'm leaving, but it does look like I'm a big dummy for moving my stop so far. Maybe this is going to end up having worked out ultimately. That sucks. I shouldn't have moved it. That'll be a lesson learned from now on. Look at this. I gotta go right now, but look at this. This is going to end up working. And the only reason I have a loss is because I moved my stop. Look at that. Look at that. It's going to work. So this is my own fault, human error. Don't move the stop. This is going to be the lesson to me. At the very least, I could have probably got out break even +1 here, potentially. I got to go. I'll come back and double check it. Probably done for the day. All right, I'm back. It's 12:43. I'm just looking at this in real time. And what do you know? If I didn't move my stop from where it belonged, I didn't even have it there in the first place, but this is where the stop belonged, under the swing. And if I had left it where it belonged, and if I was able to stick around longer, it would have got all the way back up here without stopping me out for a loss. And my entry here was 65.75, and the high here was 67.25. So it went for 6 ticks. It still wouldn't have got to my 6 or 8 tick scalp. But I'm quite confident that if I had not moved my stop up and left it where it belonged, I would have been saved from the loss. And then because I was saved from the loss, I would have moved it to break even +1 when it went back above my entry. And I'm sure I've got break even +1 or break even +2, something like that. So that's a bummer. Lesson of the day for me: to leave my stop where it belongs. Even if it's going against me. When I got in the trade, I knew that's where my stop belonged. I didn't want to, I didn't want it to be where it belonged in the first place. So I didn't put it all the way down there. Then I did put it down there here, and it went up and faked me out. And so I felt safe to move it up here. Human psychology in the way today. Could have averted a red day and got up for basically a small green day. But I was in a rush to leave. I was supposed to wrap up by 11:55. And so I entered this trade, of course, at 11:50 or just before 11:50, something like that. And I paid the price for taking a trade right when I was supposed to finish. And that extra pressure of knowing I had to be done. I think this is the second or third time it's happened to me on YouTube. If I'm within 10 or 15 minutes of having to stop, I really just should not even watch the chart anymore. I should just call it a day, because I've gotten into trouble like this a couple times, where because I feel the pressure of I know I'm already late, I'm supposed to have stopped, and I move the stop up, and I get taken out. And then if I had just left it where it was supposed to be, and if I could have stayed all the way until here, which would have made me late to where, or made my wife late to where she needed to be for a phone call, then I would have been able to get out. So that's the end of the day. It's going to end red, -620. I'll do a whole wrap up right now. A little frustrated, but it just is what it is. Losses happen. It's my first loss on this setup in 12 trades, so I can't be too mad. No setup, no system is going to be perfect, so losses will happen from time to time. And this one was just kind of unfortunate for me today at a time when I probably should have just been done. Would have much rather had a flat day, but let's do that in the wrap up. Thanks for watching. This is the end of my live recording session, and I'm going to switch over and record my summary now.